The buzz about this star player joining the Chicago Bears prior to the trade deadline is really starting to take the next level. And today's episode of Keek on the Mic starts right now.
Cali, the Chi-Town Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the Mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. First and foremost, Bears fans, happy Thursday to every single one of you guys. I hope you guys are having a really good week and a really good Thursday so far. We are only a couple of days away from the revenge game as the Chicago Bears head to Washington to take on the Commanders. Before I get into the gist of today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I just wanted to share Thursday's injury report at Chicago Bears practice. I do want to let you guys know that there was actually no practice today. This was just an estimate. They did have today off, but if they did have practice, Jaquan Brisker, Grady Jarrett, Kyle Monangai, and Darnell Wright would not have participated. Kyler Gordon, Jonah Jackson, Colston Loveland would have been limited, and then Austin Booker, TJ Edwards, Travis Homer, and Cairo Santos would have all been full participants. I'm obviously seeing Austin Booker and TJ Edwards as full participants, and even Kyler Gordon as a limited participant if they would have practiced today is really big news for the Chicago Bears defense. I am really hoping that Austin Booker can bring a spark to this edge rushing group, hoping we get some more pressure on Jaden Daniels on Monday if, in fact, Austin Booker does play. Not sure if Jaquan Brisker is going to actually play, if he practices Friday or Saturday, and we'll see what his status is. Grady Jarrett, Kyle Monangai, I'm kind of concerning there. So hopefully those guys can push through the next couple of days at practice and be available for that Monday Night Football matchup against the Washington Commanders. So Bears fans, there's a lot going on in the National Football League, and for the last couple of days, especially right here on the podcast, we have been talking about the trade deadline coming up. I believe it's November 4th is the NFL trade deadline. And we've been talking about maybe some scenarios for the Chicago Bears for some potential fits that can make, our football team better. And of course, we talked about the running back position with guys like Breece Hall and Alvin Kamara. And then we've also talked about the edge rushing position as well. And there's certain things, and once again, these are just all rumors, but something that's really trending right now over social media is Trey Hendrickson. The star DN for the Cincinnati Bengals is the guy that we, talked about prior to the season starting. We thought that maybe Ryan Poles and the Bears would make a move to bring Hendrickson to Chicago, but then at the last second, right before week one, the Bengals opted to give Hendrickson a 1-year extension to keep him with the team. As we all know, the Cincinnati Bengals have not started the season off hot. They're currently sitting at 2-3. Joe Burrow is going to be out for the next couple of months. They just traded for Joe Flacco to possibly save their season. So maybe over these next couple of weeks, if they continue to struggle and continue to lose football games, I can definitely see the Cincinnati Bengals being sellers at the trade deadline. But the big rumor going around social media right now is that, star edge rusher for the Cincinnati Bengals and Trey Hendrickson is being attracted in trade interest from both the Colts and the Bears ahead of the trade deadline. This also was reconfirmed by a guy named Marcus Whitman. He's an NFL/draft analyst, and he had this to say on X, Bears fans: Trey Hendrickson to either Indy or Chicago in the next few weeks feels like a lock in my opinion. Bears fans, you guys already know how I feel about the situation. I think this would be a big time move for Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson, and the Chicago Bears. Of course, there is pros and cons to adding a guy like Trey Hendrickson. First and foremost, let's talk about the pros. Obviously, the Bears are in desperate need for some edge rush help. When you look at the stats, the Chicago Bears at the bottom of the league in sacks so far, with only 5 in the first 4 games of the NFL season. They don't generate enough pressure. Of course, when you look at Trey Hendrickson, he's coming off back-to-back seasons with 17.5 sacks. He's already on a good start this season as well. He is currently the 11th rated edge rusher via PFF with an 86.5 overall grade. He has 21 total pressures, 12 quarterback hurries, 9 total tackles, 9 stops, 5 quarterback hits, and 4 sacks. You don't understand how much this would mean to add a guy like Trey Hendrickson on this Bears defensive line. Like we talked about in the past, he's also well connected with Bears defensive coordinator Dennis Allen as well. It would be a seamless transition. I think he would elevate everyone around him, meaning Dio Dangbo, Javon Dexter, Grady Jarrett, Montez Sweat on the other side of that defensive line. And I do think that he would be cheaper compared to a guy, obviously like Max Crosby. You wouldn't have to worry about giving up multiple first-round picks to land a guy like Trey Hendrickson. You're probably looking at either a 3rd or 4th round pick to bring Trey Hendrickson here to Chicago. So it's obvious that he would be able to elevate this defensive line. He would give, opposing offenses nightmares. That's what he's been doing for the last couple of seasons. Even at the age 30, he would be a huge upgrade and a huge impact player for the Chicago Bears defense, and a player that we desperately need at this moment if they want to be serious about possibly going to the playoffs as soon as this year. The cons to this situation about adding Trey Hendrickson is, yes, he is 30 years old, which I don't think it's too much of a con. The big con here is the cap situation and flexibility for the Chicago Bears. Currently, Trey Hendrickson's cap hit for the 2025 season, Bears fans, is sitting at $25 million. And the reason why that's a big issue is because the Chicago Bears only have $8.2 million in cap space. Of course, Ryan Poles can look at maybe restructuring some contracts. Guys like Jalen Johnson, he's not even currently playing this season for the Chicago Bears. Maybe you go to Jalen Johnson. Maybe you go to guys like Montez Sweat or DJ Moore, Tremaine Edmonds, see if they would be willing to restructure their contract to make room for a guy like Trey Hendrickson. Not only that, he is still looking for somewhat of a long-term extension. So they would also have to make room for more money to give this guy a long-term extension, even at the age of 30. So when I'm looking at the cons, it's really just the money situation for the Chicago Bears and their lack of cap space. But overall, personally, I think it's the move that, we at least need to explore. I think it's kind of interesting that as we're getting near the trade deadline, rumors are starting to heat up every single day about the possibility of the Bears either trading for an edge rusher like Trey Hendrickson or even a running back like Breece Hall. Those are the 2 constant names that I keep hearing in rumors every single day on social media. And I understand that we can't be naive to the fact that these are just rumors. People spread rumors all day long. But then you start hearing different analysts and NFL experts coming out saying, yeah, this is what we're hearing as well, that, Trey Hendrickson could possibly be available just depending on the next couple of weeks for the Cincinnati Bengals. And same with the New York Jets. They're sitting at 0-5. So if the next couple of weeks don't go their way, Breece Hall could also be available. But obviously, if Trey Hendrickson is available for the Chicago Bears, it's definitely worth the phone call, because this would be a big-time ad for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears defensive line. So, Bears fans, let me know down below in the comment section if you think this is worth the risk or the move for the Chicago Bears to add a guy like Trey Hendrickson. I definitely think it would be worth the risk and the money and the draft picks given up to get a game changer on this defensive line and give us a big boost on the defense side of the football as well. So, Bears fans, other than that, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic.